ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, outsiders of all ages. How was your Saturday night? If you love burnt orange, if you love those hook'em horns, and if you love Quinn Ewers in Texas, you had a great Saturday night. Texas beats Bama. How about this chat to start us off with? JD Hack, still drunk after Saturday, all gas, no breaks. It is the basking in the glow edition of the Outsiders on a Monday night. You're going to see lots of smiles from these four guys. Let's introduce the Outsiders. The upper left is our quarterback. Not only is he happy that Texas beat Bama, but his Buffalo Bills are clinging to a 7-point lead right now. Yes, he's one of those guys. You'll notice the Bills pin in the background pointing to the Bills helmet. We'll see what happens in that game. They're into the second half now. Your upper right is Jason Dick. He's rocking the Cowboys hat because they won big as well. And even though he picked Alabama to win, he's thrilled that he was wrong and that Texas pulled that off. Your lower right is the voice of the people, Chris Abbott. He predicted the Longhorns would win. He had 28-24. He had the Bama part perfect. He actually shortchanged his Longhorns a couple of field goals or one touchdown, however you want to look at it. He's all smiles tonight. And your lower left is Beau Edge. He is the country gorilla. He predicted Texas would win. Chance, Beau, and Chris all picked Texas to win. They were right. 34-24 was the final. Gentlemen, I'm seeing these smiles. I'm seeing the glow. My goodness. Chris, just let's start with you. Voice of the fan. You predicted they would win. You were right. How did you enjoy Saturday? Give us the breakdown.
Hey, it's an early, what are we drinking Wednesday, except it's Monday, and I've got a full cup of Kool-Aid, and it's extra sweet tonight, baby. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Loved every bit of it. The horns came out. They were on fire. Everything was great. Sark was great. I'm speechless.
There you go.
Great night. I couldn't have been happier.
Sometimes speechless is a very, very good thing. And it is, of course, the Outsiders, brought to you by Poncho Outdoors. There's Colt Fishing. Hey, Colt, that was for you, brother. That one was for you. Hopefully it helps to at least maybe feel like the curse was lifted a little bit when it comes to Texas quarterbacks against Bama. Go to ponchooutdoors.com to check out those incredible shirts that they've got. And get in the Specs chat just like somebody already has with a super chat. Burnsy, $9.99 super chat, as WWE Hall of Famer Booker T once said, "Can you dig it? Sucker!" There it is.
Booker T, a Houston boy.
That's right. H-Town guy. Booker T, five-time champ. There are going to be a lot of good chats coming in, a lot of super chats, and we want to know from you the most impressive performance by a Longhorn on Saturday. Who impressed you the most? Obviously, Quinn Ewers would be an obvious. You want to throw Quinn in there, that's cool. But there were a lot of great performances. Jason Dick, give me a thought from the game, how you took it in, how much. I know you enjoyed it, but give me a thought from Texas's performance.
Okay, we're high-fiving everybody on their predictions. I believe, guys. I believe I had that, okay? Now, did I say Texas could not score 17 or more points in this game? Did I say Alabama would win 31-17? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't know. It was like a million years ago. But I'm going to say that I definitely did say Texas could win this game if the defense gets after Jalen Milroe, a quarterback who had effectively no experience in real-time games. And if they get to him early, get him off of his game, then Texas absolutely could win. And I thought he looked spooked after that first interception. It was pretty clear that he didn't want every drop back. He's trying to run the ball. And I was kind of surprised that that Saban didn't replace him at some point in the game, because it was pretty clear that he was afraid to throw the ball. And I said that was a key to the Longhorns beating Alabama. So we were all right, guys. We were all right. Nailed it.
There you go.
Right.
You know what? We'll let you have it on a Monday. We will let you have it on a Monday after a historic win.
That was such a political. You could be a politician.
It's not my first day here, Chance. I've been at this a while.
You took an L and just twisted it into how right you were.
I had that. All right.
I'm surprised he didn't take credit for his 38-24 from Monday that then rescinded it until we're getting our ass kicked by Thursday.
Yeah, that was a good one. I was waiting for the person on the Specs chat line on one of the shows that threw 63-10 at us last week to just jump in and say, you see, I told you. Beau Edge, the defense was really, a lot of things were impressive. but we knew they had to be strong on the line of scrimmage. To Jason's point, the first really moment of blinking in this game, it was Milroe. It was that pick because the defense got after him all night.
They definitely did, but Kwiatkowski proved it on Saturday night. Everybody that looked at last year and was like, oh, that must be the Gary Patterson influence or all these different things. No, that was Kwiatkowski's defense that Patterson was helping with. And what you saw on Saturday night was Kwiatkowski with his guys, especially a guy like Anthony Hill. When we talk about 5 stars, he may not be ready for prime time to play 100 snaps, but what he was ready for was 22 snaps, spying Milroe, making Milroe's life hell. And in those 22 snaps, he got 2 sacks, 6 tackles, and 4 pressures. Anthony Hill played like a man, as the entire defense did. But that was Kwiatkowski. Like I said, it was going to be Quinn Ewers coming out party, and in some ways it was. But it was really Kwiatkowski telling Longhorn Nation, I got this. If you let me get the pieces that I need to run my defense, we'll be just fine. Did Texas have to blitz a lot? No. They played man on the outside, and they hammered them. That's what the Big 12 needs to look forward to this year is that defense.
Yeah, speaking of, how about this chat throwing in Anthony Hill is that guy? Yes, I think that is fair to say. One of the biggest plays of the game. He, in a freshman-on-freshman battle, goes right around Proctor and gets a huge, huge sack. All right, Chance Mock, I want to hear from you. Last week, you were one of a few people that I heard talk about Quinn Ewers and what you wanted to see out of Quinn Ewers and that it just wasn't connecting. Something wasn't there. Something wasn't happening. Did it happen in Tuscaloosa?
I think it did. And so first of all, we all know the elephant in the room is that Quinn Ewers, this was his coming out party. If he's going to have a Heisman type season, a year that he's going to make a run for that, he had to have a big game, and he did. He made high pressure throws, a couple really nice runs. He didn't get affected by everything that was going on around him. If you notice, he stayed very, very focused throughout that entire game. So my hat's off to Quinn Ewers. Now, a lot of that, the offensive line, as bad as they played in that first game, my God, they played phenomenal. They kept him relatively clean. Did he have to move the pocket a couple times? He absolutely did. That offensive line played their ass off. They bought enough time for things to happen. And the other thing, I got to give Sark credit. He was so patient. And during that game, it was hilarious to me because I had a couple people over here at the house, and they're all yelling at the TV, quit running the damn ball. No, you have to continue to run the ball. He didn't give up on it. He stuck with trying to make sure that they respected the run to open up those passes later. Now, let's be real honest. If we catch a couple passes that we should, not going to say any names. It's a Monday. We're basking in the glow. We're not going to do that. But there was a couple of different plays that had we made like routine type catches, we're not talking about all world catches. We're talking about routine catches. This game is 42-24, if not more, right? So hats off to Sark. Hats off to that offensive line. Defense played freaking lights out. I don't think the Alabama fans had any idea what was walking into Tuscaloosa. And my big-time hat tip, those Texas fans that made the trip to Tuscaloosa made themselves heard because they showed the SEC. Texas, one thing, they traveled their ass off. We are a team that travels so well. That's why bowl games fight over us to be there because Texas fans travel. Congrats to the Texas fans. Congrats to the players and the coaches. Phenomenal weekend.
That'll be a fun element of the SEC to watch too. With like you said, Chance, the fans traveling like that. That's what the conference is known for. The energy that's going to be there. If I'm a Texas fan, I'm pretty excited about the look of that game Saturday night because you went to an SEC environment and you played an SEC game when it needed to be played. Texas played a game to me where they could have won any game, Beau, that was required. In the end, they needed 25. They ended up with 34. But it felt like they could have gotten to whatever the number is that they were going to need.
And this was also the game where you saw the evolution of Sark as the head coach. Like Jason's been, not the biggest Sark fan, but has been, he's on his corner, but Sark called the second half better than the first half. Sark didn't get rattled when he had a couple drops, and we're not naming names, but there were a couple drops that kept touchdowns off the board and kept that game closer than it should have been. And then Alabama takes the lead 17-16, and you're like, oh, the Texas fans are like, oh, no, here it comes again. What does Sark do? He realizes that Saban had changed the defensive schematic. They're trying to take away Worthy because Worthy ate him up in the first half. So what's he do? That's when the other guys came in. Whittington, Adonai Mitchell, and I'm probably going to get that wrong because I've been calling him AD for 9 months, but Mitchell, Sanders. He started using the other guys and using Worthy as a decoy, and Worthy did that job admirably because he kept running those he was running a lot of deep routes, taking guys with him when he had no chance of getting the ball.
And Beau, to that point, let's give Sark some credit. He did not play that game not to lose. Like in years past, Texas coaches have played games not to lose. He went for it on the fourth downs. He said, you know what? Like there was early on a third down play, and he ran the ball, and everybody, like I said, at my house is
third and 8, first possession. I said, "What is he doing? What are we doing?"
Well, everybody in my house said the same thing, and I said, he already knows he's got four plays on this one, and he's going for it. Like that's a guy that was playing to win, not playing to lose. That's a guy that walked out in the middle of the ring and said, "We're just going to throw blows, and let's see who's standing at the end of it." I mean, that's sometimes some of the best heavyweight fights ever.
And I think you saw in that game, I think you saw for the first time in a while, we've got consistency in the program with regards to the coaching staff, with these players. They're getting used to these schemes. They're getting used to Sark. They're getting used to PK because they played fast. That defense was flying all over the field. They were making open field tackles. They played a football game attacking. And it's been a while, and I think that's part of that comfort, with a system that's been there now in its third year. So,
lots of chats are going to roll. Sorry, real quick. Lots of chats are going to come in tonight. Thanks to everybody jumping on the Specs chat line. Just to throw a couple out here. Sandman says most impressive Longhorn besides Ewers, Tavondre Sweat or JT Sanders. They both had really good nights.
Oh, I got to give Sanders shit. I have to.
Please do.
Can I not?
Oh, he cost – yes, I know the play.
Well, there's two of them. Okay, we're going to go with the good one first. No, let's go with the bad one first. This little sweep that he's coming across, and all he's got to do is make one block. One. And he got out there, and I know it was not a look he was looking for, but he got out there, and he just waved at the guy. I mean, it's a free run to the end zone for a touchdown.
No,
and he
Sark dialed up a winner.
But the one that makes me laugh is the long play on the left side, going to the right. He cuts back around. Dude just ran out of gas. If he continues to go straight, he's walking into the end zone, and the dude ran out of gas and was like, screw it, I'm done.
He might literally have to walk into the end zone, though, Chance. I think he was like, I ain't got nothing left. I'm turning it up right
toast.
here.
He was gassed. But on the block, and I told you this, Chance, and we were chatting about it, or we were texting during the game, I think they threw him for a wrinkle when the linebacker came across the formation. I think Sanders thought he was going to get to go hunting in the secondary, and all of a sudden there was a guy there that was actually his size range, and he just said, "Yeah, I'm going to stay away from that one." He made a business decision.
But see, you know you're basking in the glow if you're smiling while ripping your players for what they did at Alabama. That's an impressive performance. That is an impressive performance if that is happening.
Well, and to Sandman's point on the text line, which is beautiful, NFL scouts will hold that against him. So at some point, he's going to have to be told, look, you're a stud. You're going to make a lot of money on the next level. I know you're making money in the NIL here, but you're going to make more on the next level. And part of playing your position is blocking. And you cannot cost your team a touchdown by whiffing. I mean, literally whiffing. Like the effort there was about a one.
It wasn't a whiff. He just avoided it. It's like he didn't miss. He didn't go to block him and fall down. Like he just kind of meandered over to the area and was like, no, that's the guy that knocked Ewers out last year. We're just going to go like this. Cactus arms.
Jason just said business decision. Is that business decision or that I ain't going to work decision? Is that which one of those?
That is one of the decisions you have to sometimes make in business. I'm calling in sick on this play. This is just not going to happen.
Not to do it. How about a $10 super chat? We appreciate it, Jareth. Great name, Jareth. You don't get a lot of that. $10. Hats off to Anthony Hill, true freshman, huge stage with a big-time performance, 6 tackles, 2 big-time sacks. Also, Jatavian going 5 catches for 117. Hook 'em. I'm imagining that Hook 'em horns emoji is going to be making its way around social media a lot the rest of the week, and I know it did on Saturday night. Jump on in the Specs chat line. What do you want to tell us? What do you need to say about your Longhorns? And give everybody some love. Who's your favorite performance? What'd you love about the game? Whatever you want to throw out, we will get into all of that. Also, we will remind you how the bets went this week. The Bet US picks of the week. There's one of us that can feel really good about his picks. The others are just kind of hanging out. We will get to that part. You can kind of see the smile in the lower right to let you know where that might end up. But before we get there, let's talk about a last stand, Beau. Not the last stand of the Longhorns in Tuscaloosa, because that was impressive. A different kind of last stand.
Last Stand hats. I'm wearing a Last Stand hat because Last Stand makes the hats for the charity tournament that I help run, Super Cooper, that happens every year in November. It's a very high-quality hat. You've all seen their work at UT baseball games out in left field. They've had a whole run of hats. Last Stand hats is where it's at. They also have apparel. They have shirts. They have some really cool collared shirts with some great designs on them. Use the code Outsiders10 when you scan that QR code. Get you a discount on the hat. He's actually, Mike Murphy, who owns Last Stand Hats, is designing an Outsiders hat. We should have that to debut next week, where we're going to start giving away a couple hats here and there to the best chat, to whatever we decide to give it away to. Last Stand hats, the best hat you can get. It's just great. Like everything, if you go to their website, scan the QR code, use Outsiders10, they have 100 hats you can choose from. If you're a Longhorn fan and don't own a Last Stand hat, you're doing it wrong. Go get a Last Stand hat.
There you go. It is the Outsiders here on Orangebloods Live. Thanks to everybody for subscribing, liking the channel. Get those notifications so you don't miss anything, so you don't miss the shows. And remember, we'll have the Wednesday night show, the What Are You Drinking Wednesday. Chance, are we confirmed on the guest? Is he still in?
Hey, as of today, he's still in. But you have to understand something. Tying Adam Dunn down is about like trying to catch a pig covered in oil, is about what it's like. So he has said yes, but we will, until he appears on this beautiful outsider screen.
I've never tried to catch a pig covered in oil, Chance.
You haven't?
Hard. It does sound difficult, but
it's incredibly difficult.
It's like trying to
I'm not saying it's not difficult. I'm just saying, why would you try that?
Because it's what rednecks do. I don't know.
Depends on how slow your Friday night is.
Damn country gorilla, for Christ's sake.
Adam Dunn, ladies and gentlemen.
We don't wrestle in oil.
Adam Dunn tomorrow night at 9:15 is the scheduled guest for What Are You Drinking Wednesday? Although everybody's been drinking since Texas beat Alabama, and you'll be drinking throughout the week. Please do it responsibly so you can be there for the Wyoming game. Remember, Wyoming is a 7 o'clock kick at DKR. Lots of, hang on, let's see. What is this here? Let's get another chat in. SEC Hook'em. I'm surprised I did not hear one outsider, especially the Dick, talk about how them Canes did. LOL. Sorry, chat. Yeah, this is about Texas and Alabama. I mean, this is about Texas and what they did against Alabama. I don't know if there's a need to talk about any other game, but thank you so much, SEC Hook'em. Thank you so much for that. By the way, speaking of the picks, I will say the only thing I got right last week was Dion doing it again. Eventually, that game was slow, but man, they got going. And this week they'll play Colorado State. That's the only one I got right, fellas, because my Aggies didn't help me out, and Utah did not help me out. They won in Waco, but they didn't win by enough. There are your updated picks. Chris, would you like to gloat a little bit? Did you go 3-0 this week?
I sure did, Chad. Absolutely. It was great. Great.
Man, oh, man.
I'd have gone 3-0 if the Aggies wouldn't have laid a big turd in South Florida.
I had gone 3-0 if the Texas Tech Red Raiders would decide not to throw a damn pick six with less than 2 minutes left in the game.
That's rough. Blake, Jason, and Bose hanging out there in the middle, and Chance and I are down in 2-4 area. We're pacing ourselves.
I have not seen Chris Abbott make one pick on this show. All right. I just want to point out that the leader, who's 5-1, has not aired a pick on this program yet. I know he's coaching some Little League baseball situation. I don't know if these picks count.
All right, I'm gonna have to record something for this week then.
Is that how we do it? Maybe that's how I'll Chance. Maybe you and I should do it that way. Somehow get our picks in through like a side door. Is that how it works?
That's what we'll do. But I mean, look, we're gonna have to put this text from my brother up there. Trevor Mock is his name, because this is ridiculous of my sweet younger brother who's 6'5", 325 pounds.
Chance has never had to catch a pig covered in oil, but he did have 2 plus-size brothers always stealing his stuff, and us bigger fellas get a bit sweaty in the chase. All right. Maybe a little too much info about the Mock house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't that's a lot.
And the sad part is my other brother's name is Chase.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was Trevor having a little pun there when he dropped Chase's name on the back end of that statement.
Oh, man. We thank you, everybody, for listening tonight, including members of Chance's family jumping in. Somebody on the chat says from Sandman, Pat McAfee was the best part of the broadcast. I saw a little bit of McConaughey calling that deep shot to Xavier Worthy during the game. Fellas, that's one of the things that got talked about going in. I asked you guys after Rice, how many of those deep shots would they have had to hit to change your mindset? And I think we kind of agreed 2 was that number. Like if they ended up 2 out of 6 instead of 0 for 6, totally different feel. I know, Beau, you were leaning towards maybe 3 of them, but in this game, they hit 2 massive deep shots in Tuscaloosa. And of the same length, Bama hit, I guess you'd have to say 1, the deep throw they hit to what's my man's name? Burton. I guess that one would count in the same realm, but those 2 deep shots were big. Chance, give me your quarterback eyes on the 2 deep shots. What'd you like about them? What was different about them than the Rice game?
So the really interesting thing was when he let go of both those passes, I thought they were terrible balls because, I mean, they were moon balls. If you noticed, I mean, he put an entirely massive arc on both those balls. But what that did was it allowed the receivers to run underneath the balls. It gave them an opportunity because, you know, we joke about it. I joke with Roy and BJ all the time because it looks so good when a quarterback throws a deep ball and he quote unquote hits him in stride, right? It looks great. What you don't realize is that wide receiver is gauging it and slowing and speeding up, but you have to put the ball in the air to give them a chance to do that. And he did. And I thought Quinn played by far his best game. Take out the Oklahoma game, all of it. And the reason I thought he played his best game was because his feet were more quiet on the deep balls. If you noticed, he wasn't like stepping into them, but his feet were very, very quiet. He stood in the pocket. A couple of them, he had people in his lap, and he stayed in there. He didn't throw backwards. He stepped into his throw. I could not have been more pleased with the way that Quinn handled it just from a managerial standpoint. You know, when I first got to Texas, Bill Parcells told me, he goes, look, your job is to get from point A to point B. It's not a matter of how you do it. It's just get the team to point B. And that's what Quinn did all game long. He never got rattled. As Beau liked to say, he had the mind of a goldfish. When things didn't go well, he didn't get rattled. He just stayed in the zone. It was phenomenal to watch. I think Sark had a big part of that. His receivers, you've seen the videos all over Twitter. They're having fun on the sidelines. In some of the most high-pressure part, they're dancing. A.D. Mitchell's over there having a good time. I mean, he's doing the sing-along in Alabama right before catching the freaking going-ahead touchdown. Like, that's what you want. This was, and I'm sure it's been said on Orangebloods Live all day long, that was, to me, Ohio State in 2005, when they had questions of who they were, but they really came out and said, all right, we have identity now. And when you get that identity and you know it this early in the season, my beard is feeling very, very safe right now.
No, I think
beard.
So.
Yeah.
But this was the evolution of Quinn Ewers. When I said it was going to be his coming out party, it wasn't just the stats. It wasn't the 349 yards. It wasn't the touchdowns. It was the look on his face.
Mm-hmm.
A ball gets dropped, a sure touchdown by his number one guy. Was he throwing his helmet? Was he patting it? Was he walking dejectedly? No, he was in there jumping around. He was energized, and the team feeds off that. Ewers didn't let the mistakes rattle him. He just kept throwing.
So for all you guys, give me that. We talked about confidence level last week in Quinn. Let me go around the circle. Chris, I'll start with you. Where's your confidence? 1 to 10 on Quinn after that.
Yeah, I told you the Kool-Aid sweet tonight. I'm up at an 8. I really was impressed. Just like Beau was saying, I love the body language. I loved after those touchdowns. He came to the sidelines and he was getting up. He was getting everybody up. He was up in the crowd. I mean, the guy was in it. He took control of that huddle. He took control of that ball game. I'm all in. I mean, I am. That was what I wanted to see. I don't care about the throws and all that stuff. I think that was a result of the fact that kid came in and owned it, and he owned that he is the 5-star kid that they recruited, and that's what he did. And I'm in. I'm all in.
Sounds like Chris Abbott found himself a quarterback. What do you think, Jason?
Hey, Jason, before you answer, I just want to say your pick from earlier this season about the coming out party of Arch Manning may have been put to bed in Tuscaloosa this weekend. I'm just saying.
Wow.
I authorized the team to drop him off in Oxford, Mississippi. All right, he didn't even have to come back. He didn't have to.
Don't do that. Shit.
Let's keep him. We
got 1 year left.
There's more years to come. So Arch wasn't here for this year.
First of all, on that same episode, I also said Ethan Burke was going to be the defensive MVP, 2 sacks, but nobody wants to talk about that. Only that Jason said
he played so good.
He played so good.
Let me say my confidence level, and y'all are gonna say this is too low. Can I have a 6? I had 3 for number 3 last week, and I say he's fully doubled it.
Right.
The bomb to X could not have come at a better time, because had they started out with a bunch of missed deep shots, that's when I think everybody starts, getting in their heads and groaning, and it's like, oh no, here we go again. But I know Worthy had a pretty terrible drop in the game. That catch that he makes on that play where he's looking straight over his head, Joey Galloway was talking about it at halftime, saying that's basically the hardest catch that you can make as a receiver when you're running full speed with your head straight back. Incredible catch from him. And I don't know. I guess what I'm really interested in, Quinn Ewers' best games at Texas have been this game, obviously, Oklahoma a year ago, and the first quarter versus Alabama earlier in the season last year. Is there some? He clearly has no problem getting up for the big games, but he seems to play kind of sloppy in weeks where it doesn't matter. How do we remind him to keep that footwork on point, even versus a medium, level of competition? Because he clearly is on point when the stakes are the highest.
I think the word you're looking for is maturity. Quinn last year with the goofy neck beard and the mullet. Yeah, he was playing to the opponent because that's how he looked at his opponents, because he hadn't played that much Division I football, and he went back to his South Lake Carroll, I can just come out here and wing it, I'm better than you days, and he got kicked in the mouth. And then there were excuses made, like in Oklahoma State, it was too windy and all these other things. Well, this year, he's a completely different – he grew up, and guys that grow up, like he wasn't bad against Rice. Like I know everybody thought he was really bad because he missed some deep balls. He hit 19 of 24 on the throws that were inside the deep balls. He was accurate. He controlled the pocket. He did what he was supposed to do for the game plan he was given. And then in this game plan, he came out and owned it. So the next test is, what does he do against a Wyoming team on Saturday?
Yeah, the key to me there, Beau, to continue it is last year he admitted he thought he figured it out. He thought after 49-0, by the way, just on a month, 49-0. Oh. 49-0. Well, yeah. Well, only a couple more weeks we can do 49-0, gentlemen. We'll see what happens after October 7th. But, last year he admitted he got too overconfident and he just basically thought he had it figured out. Then in Stillwater, things kind of got freaky and then he never really adjusted. So let's see what he does now. You talk about people saying he was good after 49-0. Holy hell. He just went to Tuscaloosa and won by 10 and he's smoking the cigar in the locker room. So let's see what he does. How does he look this week? How does he look moving forward? It's going to be fascinating to watch. But I agree with you, Beau. It felt a lot more mature than it had. We've got some chats coming in with a lot of interesting stuff. How about this number? It's a little higher than Jason's. 9 out of 10 from Blake. Says, I was at a 7 last week. I'm sure there's some other Longhorn fans that might be in that same category. Let us know where your confidence level is. How many Longhorns gave great performances? What were your favorites? Here's one. How about Jaron Thompson keeping that poise? Jonas throwing out names like that. Texas defense was obviously really, really good in this game. And it would have been – was it Thompson on the first pick?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the first pick, right?
Yep. But
Played really, really well.
Yeah.
Did y'all see, and this is a little off topic, but did y'all see Des Bryant's tweet during the middle of the game about Ryan Watts?
Yes.
I'm so excited.
That number 6 is an NFL first-round DB. Mark my words. And that plays to the point.
Yeah, I thought of you, Beau, when I saw Watts playing like he did. I know you were really big on him going into the year. What a ball game. I mean, that diving play in the end zone to knock away, a ball, the backup of Anthony Hill on the play where Hill kind of got a little too far downfield and he's trying to come back as a spy on Milroe and Watts is helping him out. Like, I thought 6 just had a great game.
Well, and he freed up other guys. Like we're getting on the chats that Jahdae Barron got the first pick and Jaron Thompson got the second one, and you're 100% correct. But part of the reason that they were able to make some of those plays was because Watts was over on his island and he was locking down his guy. And that's what Kwiatkowski wants to do. He wants his outside corner on that side to lock down.
Well, we lost Beau.
Uh-oh. Oh, Nick Saban and Kevin Steele turned Beau's mic off. That is a shame.
Lord, his kids are on TikTok and
that is a shame. Now we're swearing. All right, let's see if we can
because I lost cable and now I'm having to stream the Bills game. Sorry.
Let's fit a super chat in here. Brett, super chat $20. Thank you, Brett, for that. Andrew Jackson. I know it's early, but does this team have the fire in their belly to go all the way? Any thoughts? Long way to go. Hook them. See, that's what it's about. When you're basking in the glow, you got to ask a question because as of today, the AP voters say Texas is 4. That means they are in the dance right now.
Underranked.
I agree with JD 100%. Jason, you go first. Why do you? Because I think we have the same thought.
The rankings in September, I say this every week when we discuss this, is kind of nonsense. It doesn't matter, but I love discussing nonsense things. They should be 3, all right? The win at Alabama, to win in Tuscaloosa, is the best college football win of the year. Florida State beating LSU in a neutral site game that was in Florida. It was a bigger win, certainly, but it is not the degree of difficulty of going and beating Nick Saban on the road at night is as high as it gets. And so, yeah, I think that Texas should have been ahead of Florida State in the rankings. But again, in September, it doesn't matter.
I would tap the brakes on that a little bit, Jason. And the only reason I say that is we don't know what this Alabama team is. And we're all riding the pony, and we are super excited. And we just kicked Alabama's ass. But you know what? I was there 7 years ago or 6 years ago, however many years ago it was, when we kicked Notre Dame's butt, and everybody was so excited. And then that Notre Dame team wasn't even a bowl-eligible Notre Dame team. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen to Alabama, but we don't know. Like, it was a good win. Anytime you go to Alabama and win, it's a good win. But I don't know how good Alabama is yet.
It wasn't even 9 a.m. Sunday morning before I was in the pickleball streets, and a nice man says to me, "Congrats on the win, but Alabama is not what they used to be." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? We're already doing the Nick Saban is washed thing." It probably is the first time in, I don't know, a decade play. I don't know how far back you have to go where he has a quarterback that we're not totally sure about. Is this guy really the guy? But, I mean, to act like there weren't 20 NFL players on the starting lineup for Alabama on Saturday night is ludicrous. And so that is still the best win of the college football season.
The problem for Alabama is it's not an NFL player for them at quarterback right now. And that's the problem they're going to, because I have a feeling there may be some quarterback controversy over the next couple of weeks in Tuscaloosa because they got other guys that are 4- and 5-star quarterbacks. And at some point, Milroe can't do that.
They do, but they don't, Beau. That's the thing. Like, I really believe he is probably their best shot right now because he's not going to face a ton of defenses. He will. There's a few of them. LSU will be able to, those kind of teams, Georgia, they'll be able to contain. Other than that, there's not a lot of defenses in the SEC that are going to be able to keep him completely contained like we did. We forced him. If you notice, when we forced him to the right, we had big problems. When he had to go to the left, we were in control. When we contained him and put a spy on him, Anthony Hill was out of his world. Like, he did not play like a freshman. And you have to give credit. And Colin Simmons, I hope he enjoyed that game because maybe they can put that baby to halfway to rest. It won't be to rest till his name is on the ink, but maybe that little baby gets a little bit more comfortable in the bed that is burnt orange. And That's the kind of game, if you think about it, the irony, Beau, the irony in the fact that the dominance of Texas ended in 2010 against Alabama when Colt McCoy went down with an injury. That's when it ended. And the fact that the next reign of Texas football could have started in Tuscaloosa against Alabama on Saturday night is exciting. You have to be excited about that. I'm not saying we're going to the national championship. We are going to the playoffs.
You have said that.
Buffalo's cold if we don't go to the playoffs.
Oh, it's going to be cold as hell. But I'll do it. But I'm saying you just have to – sports is so fun because there is that irony. There is that – those storylines that lay underneath and the things that you look at it and the fact that it's come full circle in a small way. Now, we're going to have to take care of business. And we'll get into Wyoming later in the week, but we're going to have to take care of business. But what a great jumping board. Like, this should springboard you like the Ohio State of 05 to go, all right, we are here. This is our identity. Let's do it.
By the way, thanks to up over 240 of you in the Specs chat tonight. Thank you so much. I know there's a lot of attention around this team right now, and rightly so. Jump on in. Orangebloods Live. Get the notifications all set up. Like it. Subscribe. We're headed up towards 17,000 subscribers. As Jeff Ketchum said today, on our way to the goal of 5 billion subscribers. We'll get there. We'll get there slowly but surely. We got a couple
1 billion. 1 billion's enough.
1 billion could be enough. We will get to some super chats that are coming in. But first off, Chris, why don't we tell the folks about Covert after Texas beats Bama? Somebody might need a pickup truck, brother.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now's the time. Come on down. Covert Ford 183. They're on Research Boulevard. Covert's been in Austin since 1909. Could it be a better time? We just came off that win. Not a better time to come buy a truck. I've got Bronco Raptors. I've got F-150s. I've got the new 23 Super Duty. I've got the brand new Ford Mustang, 2024 Ford Mustang. Beautiful, beautiful car. Come see us. Kenny Covert is right there on the showroom floor. So after you come see me, I'll introduce you to him. He's a great dude. Come see us. Covert Ford 183, 512-345-4343.
Might get you a ride in time to drive up to Jerry World, see a Big 12 championship game. I'm just saying. All right, how about some super chats here? I like the creativity here, even though I believe it's technically incorrect. Jonas, we'll let you do it. Super chat, $38, 3 to 8 for the score. You're a little off, but that's okay. 3 to 8 is good. It's better than 3 to 1. That's $7 more. Thank you very, very much.
Hey, if someone else is out there, I think the score was 130 million to 4.
I know exactly. Exactly.
Like if we're just trying to match stuff up.
Yeah, if y'all didn't see, Xavier Worthy changed his jersey number to 500. Did y'all not see that? You didn't see that one? Come on now. All right, how about this one, fellas? Jesse, $9.99 super chat, plus or minus 300 yards this week, or I guess an over-under for Quinn. Everyone talks about Sweat this week, but to me, seemed like he ate doubles all game. There definitely were some of that. What do y'all think? 300 yards for Quinn this week against Wyoming?
I think
I would say. Did you say you think it happens, Beau? I think
it happens with Baxter maybe being a little hurt. It's going to be. They're not going to be able to run the ball quite as much as they want with the lesser running back rotation, and I think they're going to feed off the confidence they've built in Quinn in this game. At least in the first half, I think they come out chunking it. I think the same game plan: short passes, then work the middle, then that deep ball, and we'll see if Quinn learned as. We talked about last week how he might not be able to evolve that quickly. I thought he did a little bit by going with that deeper moonshot where he wasn't trying to just rip it in there. Whether that was just for Alabama, we'll soon find out. But I think they come out chunking.
Yeah, I
think that offensive line, I mean, if they can hold up like they did against Bama and play like that, I mean, it's going to be tough for Wyoming to stay with those wide receivers for too much time. So, I mean, I think he does, yes.
That was my favorite thing about those plays. And Chance, I'll throw this chat up and get your thoughts on it. Randy says Ewers moonshots. I kind of like two things about that. Number one, it gave the receivers a chance to run under the ball, but it just felt like he felt good about his offensive line. And when you really look at those plays, the footwork probably wasn't perfect. You could probably pick apart little things about it, but he felt much more comfortable than we'd seen him before. He was able to step into both of those throws. And yeah, the arc was crazy. I call that the Jeff Blake. Y'all remember Jeff Blake when he was with the Bengals? He used to throw it off my TV screen all the time. That was kind of the throw, but it worked because he had two freaks to chase the ball down.
Well, Carl Pickens says hello, Chad.
Yeah,
Carl Pickens. There you go.
Carl Pickens says hello.
I worked with Jeff Blake for a little bit, and I would love to say I tried to show him how to throw a deep ball, but he didn't listen to much of anything from anybody because he knew everything. Especially if you asked him, he would tell you. But no, I look, I'm not going to.
Next week's guest, Jeff Blake.
Jeff Blake, 2 weeks on the outside.
I can tell you there will be one guest that I will never set up. It will be Jeff Blake.
Wow.
no.
All right.
Well, I'll give him a call then.
Okay, well, you go ahead. I'll just click this little button and do this.
Oh.
See, I have a clicker too, Beau.
All
No,
right.
look, I'm not gonna overanalyze. The thing with sports is so funny that we have big wins, and then everybody wants to go, okay, well, let's pick it apart, right? Like, give Quinn credit. He put the ball up in the air. He gave it some arc. He allowed his receivers to run underneath it. The one that AD caught, the go-ahead touchdown, was gorgeous because if you noticed, he had a chance to adjust to that ball and be able to make a play on it. Was his footwork perfect? No. But his maturity the entire game was. Never got rattled. Never allowed the game to get bigger than him. Didn't try to force anything. And that's why I think, going back to your 300 yards, I think he does throw for 300 this weekend. I think Sark lets him because really and truly what he does as far as his yardage is up to Sark. And I think he's going to do the same type thing. He's going to get him comfortable early. He's going to have those mid-range throws, and he's going to take some deep shots. And I think those deep shots will add up. You don't take away the momentum when you have it. You don't have the all gas, no brakes mantra and then roll into a game after Alabama and be like, okay, we had a good half, we're done. No, you keep the momentum rolling. And I think that's what they're going to do.
Well, and Beau brought it up, just to reiterate for people that maybe didn't see the press conference today. CJ Baxter, this week, instead of saying he's back at practice and full participation, he did mention he was limited today. So CJ Baxter may be one of those things where, is he able to play? Is it a game time decision, or do they go ahead and hold him out of the Wyoming game? We'll have to see, but that's a part of this week as well.
I think Jaden Blue looked well enough that, let's be honest, if Texas is going to be the team that we think they are, we should be able to beat Wyoming with Jonathan Brooks, Jaden Blue, and the rest of that squad. You know, we don't need the entire array. We need the entire array of receivers because that's what Wyoming doesn't have guys that can match up across all those guys. They can maybe get one, but as Alabama showed, if you double the one, Xavier Worthy, what happens to the other guys? Boom.
Yeah, well, the other thing that I think you guys should be so happy about on the offensive side, I counted 9 straight runs to close the door before they downed it. Up until that play where they coaxed the penalty to stop it, I think it was 9 in a row. Just hammering right at Bama, like Chance said, keeping the run. It was 2.8 a carry, fellas. 2.8, but we talked about it last week. I looked at those numbers from the teams that had gone to Tuscaloosa. None of them were at 4 yards a carry. None of them. Cam Newton was at like 2.6, and Manziel, I think, was around 3, maybe. Maybe he was 2.8 or whatever. To do that, but here's the other thing, fellas. Y'all got some tackles on that offensive line. I think you knew about Banks. How about Christian Jones, man? He went to Tuscaloosa and started throwing dudes all over that field. He is so impressive to me right now. The development of that guy to go from where he's been, where you guys would roll your eyes if somebody would say the name, to now, like, I don't think y'all want to go into a game without 70.
Well, and I think Christian Jones played him. If he keeps playing at the level he's at, he's moved himself into a day 2 NFL draft type player. I don't think he's going to ever get to that first round grade, but he's a second or third round pick if he keeps playing like that. And you were mentioning the one thing I wanted to say to Kyle Flood and that offensive line, when they realized that Alabama was getting away with murder on the interior and the refs just were not going to call a holding play, Texas adapted to it too. Texas was coaching their guys to grab the chest. Like, Like everybody's like, Alabama's holding. Well, guess what? Go watch some of those plays. Texas guys got in that mix in the second half too and said, well, if you're not calling it, then we're going to do it too. And that's the first time Texas has done things like that in a very long time. Welcome to the SEC. If that's how you want to let them play, then we're going to do that.
Yeah, and at least it was consistent, like we said earlier.
Yeah, no, it was exactly the same.
It's not like the Big 12 can feel it sometimes where one team's getting all the calls and the other team's not. Sometimes in the SEC, I've watched it. My team's been in the SEC for a few years. You can see the officiating crew almost decide at the beginning of a game, hey, fellas, if y'all see blood, throw a flag. Otherwise, let's go. I mean, they really will get weird on their mindset. But Texas is ready to play a physical game. There's no doubt about it. Before we hit the get you a little more info here, let's get this in from Sal in New York City. $4.99 super chat. Chance Mock with the Fitzmagic beard. Ooh, I'd take that as a compliment.
Absolutely. And I'm going to be Fitzmagic shirtless in Buffalo with this beautiful beard after Texas makes the playoffs.
That is
Like by the time we get to Buffalo in December, my beard is going to have its own Twitter account. Like that's just the way it's going to be.
That is going to be good. That will be excellent. Thanks to 240 folks for jumping in that Specs chat right now. There's a lot to get to before we are done tonight. We're going to talk about the rat poison or the poison cheese or whatever you want to call it that Texas has to deal with this week. But first, I want to hear about Jason Dick swinging them at Star Ranch. How'd it go, Jason?
It was tremendous. Beau, you were correct. All right. We won the money. We got $11 off of Chase and Steven this weekend. So it was a good weekend at Star Ranch. I will tell you, no bogeys on the round until an unfortunate 6 on 18. Now I am playing a 2-man scramble, so that's not like the greatest accomplishment in the history of ever, but I've been known to force a double bogey on somebody before. But Star Ranch is the best. I love the place because it's not just an incredible golf course, restored style quality. It's not so damn hard that it drives you crazy.
Well, and that's 252 Golf. The 252 Golf is the golf club at Star Ranch. The greens were great too, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like you can
after
make
the
putts
summer
on those
we've been
greens.
through, to be rolling that pure and to be that green is tremendous.
So save that $11 for the boudin dip you got to buy me later this week to pay off that bet. Thank you very much.
I gotta stop gambling, guys.
Hey,
You're gambling food though. That's fine.
You got like a QR code for an $11 discount. Thank you, boys, for that. It's the golf club at Star Ranch right there in Hutto, 252 Golf.
I don't know what hole that was I just showed the picture of, but I'd hit it about 15 yards into that bad boy. I'd be right 15. About the middle of that water. Just plunk right in there. All right.
That hole's like 89 yards, Chad.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Maybe not. Maybe not. It definitely was not a plunk for the Longhorns in Tuscaloosa. They got the win. They got it done. And now, ironically, gentlemen, they have to do what Nick Saban's teams have always done so well. Keep an edge about them. I definitely want to hear Chance's thoughts on this, but it always fascinates me because this is that week. Everybody's going to say so many good things about them and how great it was. And now they've got to recalibrate and reset. Chris, give me your thoughts. I mean, because we get to sit here and we can brag on them all the way up to kick of Wyoming, but they've got to get it reset. Give me your trust level on Sark getting these guys re-racked the way they need to for the Cowboys.
Well, normally in the past, it wouldn't be very good in all honesty. But, this year, watching these guys, there's something about that defense. And those guys, they come to play every single play. I mean, I haven't seen a Texas defense in a while fly around to the ball and make tackles in the open field. I mean, there were some plays last night where those guys they made the play. Those safeties came flying up there, and they made good tackles in the open field. And so the way I look at it, as they say, defense travels, and I think that defense it's there to stay. And so, having said that, I'm worried about the K-State is the one that worries me. I don't overly worry about Wyoming right now. Not that I'm not saying overlook them, but what I am saying is I have a higher level of trust in these guys. Like I said earlier, Sark's third year, I think these guys are bought in. I think there's a different mentality in that locker room, and I think you see it on the field. I think they take care of business pretty easily on Saturday night, and we go from there. I have a higher level of trust this season than I've had in the past.
Jason, what do you think?
I think before the season, when the first the top 25 came out and Texas was 11, I said in a joking way then that we are back. We are more back than we have ever been since the last time we were back. But I'm saying seriously today, we are more back than we have ever been since the last time we were back. In fact, we are more back than we were back that time. This might be the backest that we've ever been since they started keeping back statistics in the mid 2000s. I know that I was the guy busting on Quinn last week saying, are we sure he's the best quarterback? Are we sure Sark isn't just a great offensive coordinator? Do we know he could be a head coach? But I would not be a responsible YouTube sports talk jackass if I wasn't talking out of both sides of my mouth and saying now the expectations for me for this team is to go undefeated and win the Big 12. If you lose, you're going to be favored in every other game. And if you now, I'm just wondering, can Sark avoid the thing that we've talked about so many times, where a team that you absolutely are supposed to beat comes up and bites you because of a lack of preparation or accountability or whatever it is, and that this is what the Alabamas, the Georgias of the world play with every year. Is we're going to have to win the big showdown matchups, but can we also stay focused and win the games that should be just roll out the helmet games? And I will say that I'm worried, but at this point, I'm expecting an undefeated season.
By the way, real quick, speaking of worried, just a quick sidebar from the Mock family. Trevor says, I'm watching the Bills game. Is that why Chance is looking so pale? Did anybody else notice the color drop from Chance Mock's face? Chance, are you okay? How are we?
Yeah. Hold on. I'd be a lot better. See, I muted my mic because I was blurting some really bad words under my breath. If Joshua Patrick Allen did not have 4 turnovers today.
Is it 4?
Ooh.
3 picks and a fumble.
That's not good.
That's 1 turnover for every play Aaron Rodgers played.
No, it's more than that because Aaron played 3 plays.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure you're good. Thank you, Trevor,
Josh
for checking in.
Josh things like always.
Chance is a little distracted with Buffalo sucking against the Jets without Aaron Rodgers. But Jason, to your point, none of us thought this was an undefeated team before the season started. And what happens, and this is the most Texas thing that ever happened in a Texas thing of all Texas things, is we get one great win. And I'm as excited as anybody. And I was the guy that was an 8 on Quinn Ewers and predicted a victory. We're going to have a slip up. And when that slip up happens, we can't act like a bunch of babies that got their toy taken away. Be okay with the fact that if we go 12-1, it's a successful season. We all want more. We all want a natty. We all want all these things. But that's where Texas derails itself, is because we expect the players to live up to a standard that they're not quite there yet. I hope they are. I 100% do.
No, but see, I'm calling not BS because we're going off of history, right?
Yes.
So, like, I'm not calling BS like you're wrong in your analysis, but I go back to the 2005 when you find your identity this early in the season. When you face that adversity this early in the season, look what the win. Let me take you back to 2019 in Austin, Texas. Beau, I slept on your couch in your game room. LSU, the victory at Texas, vaulted them to a national championship win. It showed them we can do this. And it's the momentum and the energy. And I tell you what, I think Wyoming is going to be in for a big shock because of this reason. These players went into Alabama and did something special. They came home to Austin to that tower lit up, fans going crazy. I think they cannot wait to get into that stadium on Saturday and play in front of them. And then that's where the ball starts to roll.
I don't disagree, Chance. I think that's exactly what we want to happen with Texas. What I'm saying, though, is maybe I'm just being a Texas fan that's been through the last 15 years. Let's not overhype it and let it be what it is and wait till the end of the year to let it go.
I'm so confused by how the Homer juice works. You were so confident about picking Texas to go to Tuscaloosa and win, and now I'm telling you that my malleable expectations have changed, and we have to go undefeated now. And you're like, nope, there's going to be a slip up. Nope, there's going to be. Look, yes, 12-1 would be a great season. 10-2 and not making the playoff and winning the Cotton Bowl and Chance Mock losing his beard would be a great season. But at this point. I would be hugely disappointed if they don't win the rest of the regular season games because they will be the schedule sets up perfectly for them. They leave the state one more time I believe, to play Iowa State. The game in Houston is going to be a Longhorn home game. They should win the rest of these games.
All right. Jason using the S word early on in the season, but that's what happens when you win in Tuscaloosa. They should in a lot of cases.
That S word.
All right. How about this, though? How about let's go to this word. Is 13-0 required for the CFP because the Big 12 is so bad? Based on what's going on around the country, do the Longhorns need to go perfect to find their way into the playoff for sure?
I don't think so. I think 12-1 and a Big 12 title will get them in. Everybody wants to talk about all these other teams going undefeated. Well, that doesn't happen that often, and we just watched Alabama get beat in Game 2. Everybody just assumes Georgia's going to go undefeated the entire year. Well, maybe they have a mistake game. USC is going to go undefeated in the Pac-12. Well, they have some games on their schedule with Oregon, Colorado now with Dion and other things. Undefeated is very tough. And to think that there's going to be 4, not 1, not 2, but 4 undefeated teams, I don't think so. And I think the college football playoff is dying to put Texas on the marquee. Chance mentioned it earlier. We travel as well as anybody when we're winning. And it's not the Alamo Bowl in San Antonio for the 15th freaking time where people are like, no, I'm not even going to make that 90-minute drive because it's in a playoff. Texas will travel, and Texas lights up the TV numbers too. So I think Texas gets in at 12-1.
Chance, I think Texas needs 3 things right now. I think they need USC to slip at some point. They need Florida State to slip at some point, and they need Bama to now really turn it on. Those 3 things could really help. And obviously handle what's in your mirror and what's right out in front of you. But I think those 3 things could help Texas out if they can have that along with a good year.
Well, I agree with you that those are the 3 things that they need. But ultimately, here's the beautiful thing. They control their own destiny. And that needs to be the message in the locker room. Guys, we take care of our business. We're in. You're now at number 4. I can make an argument for 3, but regardless, all you need to do is get in. Like, that's the whole thing. You look at the NFL, and y'all all know I'm an NFL type guy. Major League Baseball, you're just trying to get in the playoffs. And once you're in the playoffs, anything can happen. And at this point, they control their entire destiny. Okay? Go out, take care of business, and you own it. And I don't know what other motivation you need than to say, hey, all right, we went in and we slayed the mighty dragon, the one that's been kind of looming over everything since 2010. Let's be real honest about it. We've had the bullshit talk of if Colt would have played, if Quinn wouldn't have been hurt. All right, well, you know what? We went into Tuscaloosa with everybody healthy, and we didn't just win, we dominated. The score wasn't even completely tell the whole story of how much we dominated that game, okay? So now it's one of those things. I don't care if we go 13-0. Do I want to? Yes, I do. But it's irrelevant. Can we have a slip-up? Absolutely we can, because other teams are going to have slip-ups, and we have a quality win. Alabama is going to do well. Nick Saban is not going to allow them not to do well. Now, can you make an argument that Nick Saban, maybe the game has passed him a little bit with the transfer portal and the way that he's handled that situation? You can make an argument there. But I'm not willing to discount Nick Saban because he's the greatest to ever do it in this game.
Well, and the second thing, and this is normally the Big 12 is a problem. In this particular instance, the Big 12 is the solution, because if Texas has a slip up, assuming it's not Wyoming on Saturday, they're good. If they go 12-1 or 11-1 going into the Big 12 title game, guess what? They get the rematch. That's all they'll need to get back in. As long as their only loss isn't the Big 12 title game, which would take them out of any playoff contention. If they drop one to Kansas State and then whoop.
Uh-oh. Those kids are back on Snapchat and TikTok.
We have Mark win.
He was
What?
about to let the real adult language fly, I think was the problem.
No, but so I guess I cut out for a second. But what I was saying was, if we lose to Kansas State or Oklahoma in the middle of the season and then avenge that loss in the title game, we still have the biggest win in our resume. Alabama. Like, so when you're comparing us to someone else, we have that. No, they can't hold the Big 12 as weak against us. When we went to the den of the SEC, the mothership of the SEC, and kicked Alabama's ass on national television.
Yeah, and for those that missed the AP poll, further down the poll, 15 was K-State. So theoretically, when Texas plays K-State, they will be a ranked team if they keep that up. Oklahoma is at 19 in the AP poll. And boy, am I going to be excited when we get to a real playoff in college football instead of this mess that they continue to do with 4 teams. But we'll get to that. That'll be next season. That's next season. Texas is trying to get into the last pageant that only involves 4. So lots to do this week. Wednesday night. What are you drinking Wednesday? Oh, Chance, what is Adam Dunn going to be drinking if we get him?
Everything.
Probably whiskey.
Yeah.
Okay.
With a Coors Light to wash it down.
Whiskey with a Coors Light back on it.
Hey, you can
With
ask
pig
Abbott.
oil
That's
on
my
his
Saturday
hands.
night of choice.
That's fantastic. Adam Dunn scheduled to join us on Wednesday night at 9:15. Before we get out of here, you may have heard earlier Jason and Beau talking about some Boudin dip. That's because Jason owes Beau some of that Boudin.
What did I bet on, Bo? I mean,
You
I'm
bet
sure
on
you're right.
Alabama with the
Oh,
7.
what was I thinking?
That's right. He did. Beau wins it. That means, Beau, you get some of that good stuff from stuff.
Yeah, I said if Texas covers the spread, then you're supplying Boudin dip at the tailgate for Wyoming.
I got you.
And that's what Stuff Food can help you win your bet. Stuff Food can help you win your tailgate. Stuff Food can make every day enjoyable because you get great food. You can eat it there. They have the Cajun delicacies, the etouffee, the gumbo. But more importantly, they have the tailgate packages. Scan the QR code. They have a variety of packages. And if you don't like the package they offer, just give them a shout, and they'll build one for you. Whatever you need for your tailgate, it's Stuffed Foods, Cajun Meat Market.
Ooh, sounds good. Sounds tasty. And because
you all right,
Texas
Chance?
got
No.
it done. Chance Mock does not seem like things are going well.
I'm sorry. There's a minute left.
Chance of the Bills losing this game. Give us your latest.
No, we're not, because they just called it offensive pass interference because Sauce Gardner fell down.
We're OPI there on Diggs. Okay. Chance is grinding through the end of this game. There is Colt fishing. That's Colt in a poncho shirt. You need one too. PonchoOutdoors.com. Colt and hopefully the whole Texas quarterback against Bama thing has now been lifted by Mr. Ewers with a 349-yard performance. As was argued today on Orangebloods Live, possibly the greatest road performance a Texas quarterback has ever produced. Certainly, it's probably the best road. It's the best road numbers overall ever at a top 10 team, and Quinn Ewers just pulled that
Hey,
off.
Chad, I hate to pour salt in the wound before you have Colt go fishing, but this chat just sums it all up. Texas would have won by more, but Bama's defense was clapping. Oh, wait, that was the Miami defense that was clapping. We had to drop one in there.
There it is. Yeah, I still need to go hear some of the Jimbo comments about the whole Miami defense thing. I have not figured all of that out. I do know the Aggie defenders needed to be doing something, clapping, tackling, scheming, getting to the play.
They spent too much time on South Beach.
Not giving up 48. We're not going down that road, Beau. How dare you?
I waited a whole hour without one crack. You cost me the picks this week.
That is the Outsiders for this Monday. Chance Mock's going to see if his Bills can get it done. We will be back on Wednesday night at 9. Get to Orangebloods Live. Remember, weekdays, 6:30 a.m. Get your horns up. We got the 8 o'clock show with Anwar. We got 12 to 3 with Catch and Me. We got 3:30 Football with Friends with Alex Dunlap. And we have the Outsiders show. Next one coming up, 9 o'clock on Wednesday night. Thanks to everybody. Up over 250 as we close the doors tonight. Thanks to everybody. Be safe this week. Get ready for the Wyoming game. If you don't have your stuff all stocked up, Specs can help you too. Thanks to Specs for the chat line, specsonline.com. Remember, they've been cranking it since 1962. They are your place. Get the Specs app. Get all that taken care of as well. Until 9 o'clock on Wednesday night, this is the Outsiders on Orangebloods Live.